If you'd like online business explained to you in a way that you can actually understand, go to latenightim.com/explain. It's completely free, and I made it just for you. Now, how about an episode?
Episode 216.
Late Night Internet Marketing.
This week on the Late Night Internet Marketing Podcast, I'm going to teach you how to build a lead magnet in a single day, why you need one, what the lead magnet should be about, and how to get it online. All this and more on the Late Night Internet Marketing Podcast.
The Late Night Internet Marketing Podcast.
You've been working for somebody else, but you want a business to run yourself. You want to know how to start, where to begin. Can you get out your comfort zone, my friend? Yes, you can do it right when it's late at night. At the end of the day, your dreams burning inside. So keep it up and you will find that you're building your business one night at a time.
And now, broadcasting late at night from a little studio in the big state of Texas, your host, Mark Mason.
Hey, how is everyone doing? I am your host, Mark Mason, and you are listening to the Late Night Internet Marketing Podcast, coming to you from the little studio in Dallas, Texas, where we're finally playing youth baseball again. I am so excited. We had a great weekend last weekend. We made it to the quarterfinals. Actually, we made it to the semifinals. We won the quarterfinals, lost in the semifinals. We gave the game to the other team. They were a really good team, but there's no reason we shouldn't have won that game. But it's springtime, and those things happen, and we don't have the focus that we need yet. We're having a little trouble finding the strike zone. But some great things happened this weekend in youth baseball, and I have a little commentary about that in the after show notes. So for those of you that maybe haven't been around the Late Night Internet Marketing Podcast, if you stick around until the end, you'll find that I come back on the air and talk about something that may be only loosely related or not even related at all to internet marketing, some more personal commentary at the end of the show. And you're welcome to hang out and listen for that after the outro. Today I've got some comments about some stuff that happened on the baseball diamond. So that was great. That was an amazing thing. And this week also has been great because drop shipping starting to pick up. We've been working on that a little bit in our spare time, and we've gotten some results. As you know, I've been working on a side project on drop shipping, and right now we're focused on Facebook. And I mentioned this resource last week, latenightim.com/Tom, Tom. We're basically following that course and doing some drop shipping on Facebook Marketplace. And I sold some really strange stuff this week. Probably the strangest thing was a little box that makes ozone in places where you have odors like smoking odor. You can put this box in there and it generates ozone. Whoever would have imagined that I would sell such a thing? That's one of the interesting things about drop shipping. Probably the strangest thing that I've ever sold in this kind of context of drop shipping and e-commerce is I sold a dozen toilet paper holders in the shape of deer antlers. So if you can imagine, like, there's a deer antler mounted to the wall next to your toilet and it's holding your toilet paper. That's me. I sold that. That's kind of crazy. So yeah, drop shipping's going on. And if you're interested in that course over at latenightim.com/Tom, you can still use that discount code FB as in Facebook 250 to get $250 off that course. Okay. So that's awesome. This week I ran across in my feed Russell Brunson, who's probably the greatest online funnel conversion guy that ever lived. And he's up and running post-COVID with a renewed interest in funnels. And he's been doing some teaching. And so I decided it'd be a great time to have an episode on that while I was all fired up after having listened to Russell, who's a really exciting guy. So let's talk about that now.
It's time to get to work building your internet business. One night at a time.
One night at a time.
Okay. So the first thing that you always hear with regard to lead magnets is some conversation about what is a lead magnet and why do I need one? So let's tackle that first for people who might be new to internet marketing or might need a refresher on why these things are so important to every kind of business, not just online business, but every kind of business. It doesn't matter whether you're a photographer like my wife is, or you are an internet marketer like I am, or you're running a pizza parlor. No matter what's going on, leads are the lifeblood of your business. That's something that you'll hear all the time. And another overused catchphrase that you hear all the time is that the money is in the list. So what do all these people mean? Why is it that list is so important? Well, the first, I think the first thing to understand and to realize is that email marketing is one of the very few ways where you can actually directly control or have the most direct control over communication with your customers. Still today, even decades later, after all of these different social media programs, it's still true that when you send an email, that's one of the most likely ways that you're actually going to be able to reach potential clients. You may post something on your Facebook page, but the problem is when you post something on Facebook, you are actually depending on Mark Zuckerberg to show that information to your client. And you don't really know whether or not that's going to happen. And so while social media is great, and Instagram and Facebook and Twitter all have their places and are all really important, they're not reliable. You're using your content on someone else's platform to build someone else's business when you create content for Facebook or Instagram or Twitter in the first place. That's one thing. And the second thing is you are not in direct control over whether or not that information is shown. Now, you're probably thinking, well, I'm not in direct control also with email because I can't guarantee the person's going to open it, and I can't guarantee it won't end up in a spam filter and so forth. But the truth of the matter is you really are in more control there. You can test the message ahead of time. You can test subject lines. You can write well and understand the art of getting people to open your email. But in that case, it's a direct interaction between you and the user, or you and the user's inbox, and you're not fighting all these algorithms. So I believe that this is the best way still to contact people is through email. Now, the second thing that I will say, and I've told this story many times on the show, but when your email list is yours, that's actually something you own. That's an asset in your business. You can download those email addresses from your email service provider, and you can print them out and you can keep them and you can have them. So if something happens to your business or your online platforms, this list of email addresses is something that you can walk away with. It's yours. It's a real tangible asset in your business. And I've told you the story that Jeremy and Jason in Internet Business Mastery told me more than a decade ago now about their friend who got squeezed out of his business and he walked away with just his email list. His partners kind of pushed him out of the business, but he was able to keep his email list. And so all he did was start up a new business literally the next day and email his list and say, hey guys, if you're interested in coming with me, I'm here. Right. And that is the best example I can think of why you should have an email list. But there are other reasons too. And one of the other reasons to have a lead magnet and an email list is in order to get people to take direct action. So a lot of times you can build a lead magnet with the purpose of converting a sale directly. And we're going to talk about that today. So I hope you believe that having a list and having an email magnet is important. One of the other cliche things that you hear that I think is largely true is that a properly run email list is worth, on average, rule of thumb, $1 per lead per month. So that means that if you have an email list of 1,000 people, you should be able to expect to make $1 per lead per month on your email list. Now, this varies widely. And if you're an attorney, I will tell you, you can see maybe 100 times more than that. And if you have a sewing website, it may be that you're looking at 50 cents a lead, but still the point of that $1 per lead per month sort of statement is that properly managed email list should translate directly into recurring revenue, because your business is based around helping people, and an email list really is a list of people that you're able to help. And that's really the right way to think about it. I get a little bent out of shape when people think about email lists as money, but if you've got a business, as you should, that's set up around helping people, and your email list then becomes a list of people that either need your help or that you're able to help. So I think that's the right mindset, the right way to think about it, and to remember that all of these people on your email list are people. So what is this lead magnet thing? Okay, so we have the idea that this email list is important. What is a lead magnet, and how does that fit into the list? A lead magnet is a thing that you give away in exchange for someone's email. Now, why? What is the core principle behind that? The core principle is email addresses are incredibly valuable, especially to the people who own them, who they belong to. I don't want to give you my email address unless I have a good reason to do that, because I don't want a bunch of junk in my inbox, right? And so the only way I should give you my email address is if you're going to give me something of greater value than my email address is to me. It's the same principle as the only way I'm going to give you $20 is if you give me something in exchange that's worth more than $20 to me. Otherwise, the $20 stays in my pocket, right? So email addresses are a form of currency in that conversation, and you need to be creating value that you can exchange for people's email addresses, and that is a lead magnet. And so the question is, if I want to create a lead magnet, how can I do that? Now, this is the point at which a lot of people that I talk to just freak out. They're like, oh gosh, I have to create something. I don't know what to create. I don't know how to create it, and I don't know how to get it online. And once I get it online, I don't know how to get people to the lead magnet. That's the 4 things that people talk about. And so let's break those down real quick, those 4 things. And by the time we're done with that, you should be ready to go create your lead magnet. So the very first thing is, I don't know what to create. Now, this is something that Russell Brunson is teaching right now, and it's something that I think we've been doing for quite some time. So I love the way he talks about it, though. Russell talks about this idea of figuring out what your big thing is that you help people with. So if you are like me and you're teaching people internet marketing, the big thing that you help people with is you help entrepreneurs build and grow their online business. And so you can take that big idea and break it down into areas. So for me, I teach on affiliate marketing, and I teach on drop shipping, and I teach on email marketing and so forth. So there are these big topics that I teach. I teach about motivation. And so you pick one of those, pick one of the most exciting ones. And so I think, for me right now, I'm excited about email marketing because I've been, hanging around with Russell online. In COVID, you don't hang around with anybody actually, but I've been watching some I've been watching some stuff from Russell, and so it's on my mind, and I'm excited about it. And I know that people, this is something they want to do, right? So this is an exciting thing, email marketing. For you, it might be something else. If you're teaching golf, you might teach how to drive the golf ball, how to pick the right equipment first, and then how to drive the golf ball, how to make approach shots to the green, and how to putt. And you know, what people probably are most excited about in golf is having these big, impressive monster drives off the tee. So that might be the most exciting thing that you do in golf. And so you start thinking about that as a thing to build your lead magnet around. But then you need to narrow it down. And so what are the steps that you have people do? So if in my case, if we're talking about building email lists, well, we're going to have a lead magnet. We're going to create that lead magnet. We're going to capture emails. We're going to have the technology created around that email list. Then we're going to nurture that email list, and then we're going to grow it by driving traffic to it. And then we're going to monetize that list. So those are the big steps. And so you can break that down and you can pick the most exciting one. Well, for me, the quick win for that is what we're talking about right now is how can I get you started in just a day? Like that sounds really exciting, right? How can I break that down into something small and just get you started in a day? And so that would be a great lead magnet for me. It's also a great podcast episode. And so probably what I will do here is I'll create a lead magnet at latenightim.com/lead magnet. And I'll show you an example of this very thing. I'll eat my own dog food. We'll create a lead magnet and I'll do it today. I haven't done it yet, so I'll do it today. So that means it'll be up by tomorrow. So hopefully by the time that you hear this, there will be a lead magnet at latenightim.com/lead magnet. Okay. So for my example, that's an exciting thing. And it's a tiny piece of what I teach, and it's a quick win. In the golf example, we already decided that the most exciting thing that we taught was driving. But driving is a big topic. You know, I've got to select the right club. I've got to understand whether to hit the 3-wood or the driver. I've got to understand, you know, how high to tee up the ball, how to address the ball, where to stand, how far to put my feet, where to put the ball back and forth in my stance, how to handle my backswing. There's lots of stuff to understand. So maybe my lead magnet, maybe the most important thing in driving the golf club is actually selecting the right club. And so, you know, how to decide when you're at the golf store, how to buy the right club, or maybe it's how to think about your backswing. Maybe that's even more important. And, you know, maybe later in my business, in my golf teaching business, I offer a video course on how to be a better golfer. But right now, I just want to give you a quick win so that you can get this lead magnet. You can improve your backswing and go straight to the driving range and see an improvement. So that's a quick win I'm going to give you on a tiny bit of your business. So your first thing to figure out is, what are the big things that you do and how can you break them down? I want you to break them down twice. You know, what are the big things that you do? What are the subtopics in that? That's one breakdown. And then what's a detail in one of those subtopics that you can teach someone that will give them a quick win? Okay. So that's what I want your lead magnet to be. Now, that whole process, I don't want you to spend more than 15 minutes kind of figuring that out, kind of noodling that out. In fact, if you want to pause this podcast right now and just noodle out exactly what it is that you want to make your lead magnet about, you can do that, because this is not a forever thing. It's not going to be a giant project. After all, we're creating a lead magnet in a day. I just want you to identify something in your business that you can use to help people quickly right now today, a hot tip that you can deliver in a sub niche of your business that you can help people. That's going to be our lead magnet. So the second thing that we need to do once we've identified this lead magnet is to create it. And this is another thing that just totally baffles people. They're like, oh, I don't want to create things. Again, I don't want you to overthink this. If you have an online business, you have lots of examples of where you've created content. And if you don't have an online business, you have lots of examples where customers, let's say you have a brick and mortar business, customers have come to you asking for help and you've given them valuable help, valuable information. Let's say you have a swimming pool business and you have customers all the time coming in and asking you, what's the trick to making sure you have exactly the right amount of chlorine? There's your lead magnet. Okay. First of all, how to make sure you have the exact right amount of chlorine in your pool so your kids' eyes don't burn. Okay, that's your lead magnet for your pool company. And it's easy for you to create that content because you're behind the counter telling people how to do this all day long, every day, particularly in the summer. So what I like to do to create simple lead magnets, especially in this day and age, is just turn on my iPhone or my Zoom camera and record a simple thing that explains what it is that I want to teach. And okay, now you're saying, oh, Mark, I can't get in front of a camera. I'm terrible in front of the camera. No one wants to see that. I have a face for radio like me. And that's fine. You can have a face for radio. Record an audio over a slide deck. Just turn your computer on to record. On the Mac, you can actually do this for free. And I know there are ways to do it on the PC. The software that a lot of people like is called Camtasia. There are also ways to do this for free on the PC using things like OBS Studio and other less complicated pieces of software, but just make 4 or 5 slides in PowerPoint or in the Google presentation software, Google Slides, and just talk about what's on the screen. Say, okay, for chlorine, first you want to do this, and then you want to do this, and then you might want to consider this product. And you want to test it every day, and you want to make sure that you bring the water into your local pool shop every month. And that's how you do it. And believe me, while that may be simple to you, a guy who just got a pool or a lady who just got a pool who doesn't know anything about chlorine and doesn't understand how pool chemistry works, that they're going to be amazed by that. Same thing with the golf backswing. If there's something that you can do that's really simple, like maybe you can have someone in your house film you just talking to your iPhone with a golf club and demonstrating the proper way to do a golf backswing. That's awesome. And that's like a free golf lesson. That's a huge value. If that's your thing and you teach golf and you can just provide this simple, I'm talking about like a 5 or 7 minute video, that's your lead magnet. I think for me, a video is the easiest thing to create for a lead magnet. Absolutely drop dead simple because I can just hit record and go. Now, if you really hate video and you're like, Mark, there is no way I'm creating video, I'm not recording a thing, then fine, write a nice blog post. We're going to call it a blog post, but it'll be a PDF and we'll give a PDF for our lead magnet. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I think in this day and age, video is more effective because you can say, I've got this amazing video for you and I'm going to tell you exactly how to do X. Okay. So create your lead magnet. And again, I think the creation of a lead magnet really needs to be something that only takes you an hour or 2. Now you've got this lead magnet and it is about something that's integral to your business. It gives people a quick win. And by the way, the only thing I would caution you on with regard to your lead magnet is just make sure you deliver on your promise that you make when you offer the lead magnet. So I'm going to help you improve your golf swing by, helping you with your backswing on your drive. Make sure that you really deliver on that and that, you give great value and make people go, wow, that's awesome. Okay. So now we've got this lead magnet. So the third step is let's get it up online. And this is another thing that just absolutely freaks people out. They're like, okay, I don't know. I use WordPress or whatever, fill in my website is WordPress. I don't know how to deliver the thing. I don't know how to hook it up to my email. I don't know how to do any of that. So for that, no matter what tool you're using right now, the best thing I know to tell you to do right now, the absolutely drop dead, simple, easiest thing to do is go get a free Groove account over at latenightim.com/Groove. And in fact, just to make the point, I'll make this lead magnet, the one that I'm creating for this episode, latenightim.com/lead magnet. I'll use Groove Funnels for that, just to show you how that works. Groove Funnels, as you know, is my favorite thing right now, and I'm enjoying that, and I'm working with them through all of their growth and development. And I think this is an awesome tool, but it's perfect for lead magnets. Groove Funnels is made for lead magnets. And so you can be up and running with a pre-made funnel on Groove Funnels literally in an hour. So go check out Groove Funnels, and there's a ton of training right there on the site. Again, that's latenightim.com/Groove. That's GROOVE. But you don't have to use Groove Funnels. You can use lead pages. You can do it with WordPress. You can use Thrive. You can use Divi. There's 1,000 things. There's ways to do this on Squarespace. If you've got ConvertKit, they've got landing pages and they can show you how to do this. Whatever your tool is, just go make the landing page. And here's what you want to do. You want to have first of all, hopefully they've got a nice template that you can use to make this simple. You want to have a hook and then make a promise and then describe what they're going to get and then ask for their email address. So it's going to be something like this. Have you ever dreamed about hitting the golf ball so far that you couldn't even see it anymore? How would you like to know the number one secret for improving your golf swing today? Send me your email below and I will give you my exclusive free video on on the 3 steps that you can take today to improve your golf swing. After watching this video, you'll be running, not walking, to the driving range to check out this amazing tip. Just enter your email below and let's get started right now. Some copy like that, very simple. Doesn't have to be anything amazing, right? And so that's the thing that you want to do. A hook, a promise, a call to action, right? That's really, really simple copywriting. And you don't need to get fancy. You don't need to make a video for that page. Just a simple landing page. And most of these landing page softwares, including Groove at latenightim.com/Groove, these landing page softwares have templates that you can use. So you can literally have a template up and running in 20 minutes where you actually got the page online and you're offering your lead magnet. So that's my recommendation. So the final problem is, okay, so I've got this lead magnet here and you've told me, Mark, you told me that I need to get people to the lead magnet and get them on my email list because the money's in the list and this is the lifeblood of my business and all this kind of nonsense. So where are these people coming from? Where do I get traffic? And that's the fourth thing that always freaks people out is, where do I get the traffic that I can convert into leads? Well, traffic is everywhere. So if you don't believe that traffic is everywhere, I want to suggest to you that you have a limiting belief around traffic and that you think it's hard and that's making it harder. Okay. So I'm not saying just build it and they will come. This is not a field of dreams situation, but I want you to set aside the belief that traffic is hard. Okay. And just go get traffic. Traffic is out there. There are billions of people on the internet every day. Go find 100 or 1,000 of them and get them on your list. That's really all we're talking about, is siphoning off a tiny bit of the traffic on the internet. So that, the very first thing you can do, and I think this is sort of obvious, but missed in a lot of cases, is you could just go out and help people one at a time in some way on Facebook, in Facebook groups, or wherever you meet people, wherever you're normally talking about the things that you like to talk about, your business, you're around like-minded people who are also in your business. And when the topic of your lead magnet addresses comes up, you can offer it to them. And what I want you to avoid is being spammy link person, right? Where every time someone says golf, you throw out your link for your lead magnet. You can do that, but I think you'll very soon be persona non grata. I think the best thing that you can do is when someone says, hey, I'm struggling with my drive on golf, you can say, hey, I've got a fantastic resource about that. And in that resource, I teach some stuff about the backswing. You might want to take a look at your backswing. Here's some stuff you can look at and start that conversation. I wouldn't even mention the lead magnet, just help them. And then after they reply, say, oh man, thanks so much. And say, by the way, if you'd like the free videos, send me a direct message or let me know. And I'd be happy to drop you a link, and just drop them a link to the lead magnet page after they ask for it. I think this is a key thing. Don't just be spamming them with the link. Just say, hey, I've got a resource. If you're interested, let me know. Not, hey, I've got a resource. Here it is. There's a big difference. And I think if you want to build lifelong customers, you want to have more of that give and take relationship. And a great way to start the relationship is to first help them with no strings attached, and then offer them the lead magnet and only give it to them if they ask for it. I think that's a really good recipe for social media interaction. And while you're doing that, make sure that you are well aware and respectful of whatever the forum rules are for wherever you're doing this, in Facebook groups or whatever. You want to be seen as a person who's really trying to help people, not as a person who's chasing after leads. And if you're running your business right, you really are a person that's really trying to help people. So that's one thing that I can recommend that you do, is that you just go out and help people with your lead magnet. The second thing that I recommend that you do is probably you have a website, a Twitter account, a Facebook page. You want to make sure this lead magnet is out there and available, and that you're talking about it in those places. So if this is going to be a primary way that you attract people to your list, you want to feature this lead magnet on your website. You want to go back and find articles that you've written in the past that are possibly ranking in Google at this time, and add links to the lead magnet directly into those pages that people are already reading. You want to consider whether or not you want opt-in boxes somewhere on your site that allow them to directly opt in. You want to make sure that you've got a pinned tweet about this and all of those different kind of things. If this is something image related, you want to make sure you push related images related to this to Pinterest and so on. And so those kind of obvious things, you want to make sure you're doing that, because a lot of people, they create the lead magnet and then they forget to market it, right? And that's just a mistake. And in fact, that's completely upside down, because really what you should be doing is spending 20% of your time, the day that we're talking about, creating the lead magnet, and 80% of your time actually promoting the lead magnet, or maybe more. Maybe you create a lead magnet once and you promote it for years in some cases. And so you definitely want to be talking about these lead magnets wherever it is that you're talking, and you want to do that in a helpful way. Of course, the other thing that you can do with a lead magnet is that you can create paid ads for lead magnets. And that freaks out a lot of people, because they're like, hey, Mark, I don't have budget for paid ads. And I totally understand that. But let's say that you have a lead magnet that has a specific purpose to it, like the golf lead magnet. I think that's a really good example. And let's say that really what your end goal is after you get someone's email address is that you're going to send them some more helpful information, and eventually you're going to recommend a purchase. So let's say, for example, in this internet marketing lead magnet, let's say that I am going to recommend a piece of software, which I am, GrooveFunnels. If you go to latenightim.com/lead magnet, I'm going to teach you how to build a lead magnet. And in that, I'm going to recommend GrooveFunnels. Now, GrooveFunnels has an affiliate program, and while the software is free, if someday you decide that you love GrooveFunnels so much that you want to upgrade to one of their paid plans, I get a commission. So what that means is, in this case, if I pay for traffic to that lead magnet, eventually I will get a return on investment to that traffic. And so let's take the golf example. Let's say you're teaching the backswing in golf, and one of the things that you recommend in the subsequent communication to this person by email, who you just captured their email address by offering them amazing value, and then subsequently you recommend, hey, by the way, if you want to improve your backswing even more, we have this course on backswings that we offer, or we have this teaching aid that we sell, or we have these lessons that we provide. And so if you know your numbers, you'll know that a certain percentage of everyone who joins your list actually takes you up on this offer that they may get 2 weeks later. Maybe there's emails that go out every day for 2 weeks, and at the end of a week or two, they get this offer to buy something amazing, but only 1 in 10 people buy it, or 1 in 20. And so you make $200 if they buy it. If 1 in 20 people buy the thing, that means that everyone that comes on your email list is worth to you on an average $10 worth of revenue. Let's say that it's an electronic thing, that a course that you're selling. So, or let's say it's every 100 people, you make $2 every lead that you land. Well, that means that if you want to break even on this lead magnet, you can afford to spend $2 a lead on ads. And that's doable. I mean, depends on your niche, of course. And if you're in the internet marketing niche, it's going to be more expensive, between $5 and $10 a lead, probably. And if you're in some kind of legal niche, like, DWI or some kind of niche like that, where you're trying to land high tone law clients, it's going to be, $50 a lead or $100 a lead, but you get the idea, right? If you construct your lead magnet so that it results in the generation of revenue, even just a little bit of revenue, then you can actually use that to pay for leads. And you see that all the time. And you say, well, Mark, why would I want to make money with my lead magnet and spend it all on ads? And the answer is, we call this a self-liquidating offer, meaning that we are spending money to break even, because when the dust clears, it hasn't cost us anything to collect all these leads. So if I told you you could get 1,000 leads for free or 10,000 leads for free, and it wouldn't cost you anything because the act of capturing the leads was actually being paid for by subsequent sales to the leads, well, you'd tell me that was an amazing idea. I'll take all the buckets of 10,000 leads for free that you want to give me. Well, that's how you can construct this. So paid traffic is the other way. And if you're smart, you can do paid traffic in a way that costs you less than the full value of the traffic. You can, that Facebook bill that you get from driving traffic can be offset by sales on the back end of your lead magnet. So there you go. That is the 4 steps, right, that you can do today. I'm telling you can do this today. You can take 15 or 20 minutes to brainstorm a lead magnet and understand what you're going to do. Then you can take an hour or 2 to record a simple video. It doesn't have to be amazing. The content should be amazing, but the video production, it doesn't need to be amazing. Record something on your iPhone. If you've got a Mac, use the free software, iMovie or DaVinci on the PC, to actually just edit the video to make it look nice. Put a title on it. Super simple, 2 hours. If you don't want to do that, hire somebody on Fiverr to edit the video for you, just to clean it up a little bit, make it look in a way that you're happy with it, because, you're more sensitive than you need to be about the way video looks. Or create a PDF, whatever you want to do. That should take you a couple of hours. Let's call it 3. So if you start in the morning, by lunchtime, you can have a lead magnet. That's completely reasonable. And in the evening, you can go over to Groove Funnels at latenightim.com/groove. You can sign up for a free account. You can go through their training. You can have a landing page up before dinner, and be ready to drive traffic to it the next day. I mean, I really think that's a thing. You can do that. Even if you've never done this before, that's totally achievable. And you know what? If it takes you 2 days or it takes you 3 days, yeah, that's longer than a day. But that means that by next week, you'd have your first lead magnet or your next lead magnet up and running and creating leads. And then you could go about the business of promoting it. And isn't that better than just going on to the next podcast in your list and never taking action? I mean, really, you took the time to listen all the way to this point in the episode. Shouldn't you just go ahead and create a new lead magnet this week? Wouldn't that be an awesome thing? And maybe 5 years from now, you'll turn around and you'll go, wow, that lead magnet's responsible for 10,000 or 20,000 or 30,000 leads in my business over the last 3 or 4 or 5 years. I should send Mark an email and tell him thanks. Maybe that'll happen for you. That would totally make my day. Okay. That's all I got for you today. I hope you have an amazing week. I hope you go out and build a lead magnet. And if you do, I want you to email me and tell me about it. I want to check it out. And if it's awesome, I may even mention it on the show. Just hit me up at feedback@latenightim.com. And that's an email address, or you can go to latenightim.com/feedback. All right. Until next week. Ciao.
You can do it right when it's late at night.
You've been listening to the Late Night Internet Marketing Podcast.
Be sure to visit LNIMpodcast.com today to leave feedback for Mark. Download special bonus content, access the show notes, and more. See you there.
Until then, go and make some great progress on your internet business, one night at a time.
Business one night at a time.
Okay, so this weekend was awesome. We are playing 14U AAA. So that means that my boys are 14 years old or younger in this season. They're generally in the 8th grade. And AAA is the 3rd level of 4 possible levels. So it's a pretty high level of baseball, but not the highest. And they're pretty good, but they're not in the MLB yet. And so it's fun. And, the pitchers we see throw between 65 and 75 miles an hour. So that gives you an idea. And the baseball field is regulation size, Major League Baseball. So for, the bases are 90 feet apart. The mound is 60 feet, 6 inches from home plate. And the outfield is huge. And in fact, left field this weekend was 300 feet. And there was a 27-foot wall in left field. So the outfield, like in Boston. So the outfields are really big in most cases. And so we made it to the quarterfinals. My son in this game was playing second base. And one of the things that you have in springtime is you have a lot of pitchers are having a difficulty finding the strike zone, because literally this weekend was the first time they'd pitched in a live game since October or November, best case, right? So that most of these guys had not played at all since last year. And so sure enough, we're winning 9-5, and our pitcher starts getting in trouble. So my coach, our team's coach, I'm the assistant coach. The team's coach sends the signal to Zach, my son, that it's time for him to come in and pitch. And so by the time he got in the game, it was 9-7, and the winning run was on first base. And so that was exciting with 1 out. So this is what we call in baseball a high leverage situation. Zach was able to come into the game and win the game. So he got the save. So that was very exciting. And it really came down to the last pitch. I mean, he's also pitching for the first time since November. So he struck out the last batter to win the game. Had he walked that batter, there would have been a tie. And of course, in the quarterfinals, we would have gone to extra innings. So it was a huge win. He was very excited here, but this isn't really about Zach. This is about the opposing coach. So at the end of this event, the team's going crazy. The fans are screaming. The opposing coach tracks down Zach and comes to shake his hand in congratulations, which is amazing. I think that, it was a really cool thing because, Zach will tell you, I wasn't very excited. I struck out a guy and, got another guy out. What's the big deal? Right. And so the big deal is he got up there in a very difficult situation with ice water and threw strikes. Right. And so that's an awesome thing. And I think that the opposing coach recognized that. And also he recognized that in youth baseball, this is really what it's about. And I think that's exactly what I want to see more of in life. It wasn't really about whether or not we won or lost the game. For that coach, they lost the game and they were going home, right? They were packing their stuff up. Their weekend was over because of Zach. And instead of kicking the dirt and being angry and, moping around with his 14-year-old kids that were very upset about having lost in the quarterfinals, he finds my kid and congratulates him on a job well done. Now, why can't we have more of that everywhere? And why isn't that the behavior in Washington, D.C., for those of you in the United States? Why can't we have more of that gracious kind of old school, just kind of awareness of what's really important and appreciation for things that are more than just whether or not I personally won or I personally lost. I'll include a picture of this coach in the show notes. And I will say, because I know Dr. Ryan Gray, who is a very famous podcaster, listens to this show occasionally. And I know Dr. Gray played baseball when he was younger. And the one thing that's changed and the one thing that made me kind of cringe was when you look at that picture, what you're going to see is a bunch of people very close together without masks. And I thought, my God, how has the world changed? Baseball is a relatively safe sport, but there are these sort of choke points that occur coming in and out of the dugout. And this picture just makes it look like we're not careful at all. And certainly Texas has lots of room to improve with the way we handle COVID. But I looked at that picture and I was like, oh man, Ryan's going to see this and I'm going to hear about it, because Ryan, he's a man of science and a physician, and he has things to say about this. So anyway, that's my story from the weekend. I hope you guys have an awesome weekend, and I hope that everything is totally groovy for you, and we'll talk to you next week. Ciao.
Late night internet marketing.
Hey, it's Mark again. I wanted to tell you one more time about this absolutely free resource that I have for helping people who are trying to get the big picture for internet marketing, actually get started and understand what all their choices are. If that's not you, there's no more content. You can skip to the end. But if you're someone who came to this podcast because you're searching for how to get started online and you just can't cut through all the noise, I get it. That was me. In 2007, when I was trying to get started, there were so many people throwing offers at me that I really couldn't even understand what all the different business models were. I couldn't understand how money moved around on the internet, and I couldn't really get a grip on what direction I wanted to go in so I could figure out how to move forward. I've created a free video resource for you just for that purpose at latenightim.com/explain. In several short videos, I just explained to you what internet marketing is all about and what online business is all about and the different options that you have for starting an online business. There's nothing to buy there. You just sign up for access and you get the videos just like that. So if that's interesting to you, or if you know someone who's in a same situation, send them that link, latenightim.com/explain. And let me know what you think. I'd love to hear what people are thinking that are in the exact same position that I was in more than a decade ago in 2007. In some ways, it seems like yesterday. And in some ways, it seems like an entire lifetime ago. Again, that's latenightim.com/explain.
Late night internet marketing.